and welcome to my review and look at The Conjuring 2. As you can see, we've just gotten a little bit of a peek at the film, and here we are at the Hugan residence. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, sorry. In Edenfield, England. This is, of course, in 1977 and is set around what's known as the Enfield Poltergeist event, which even I am impressed by to this day. Much like the Amityville Horror, it was heavily, and I mean heavily, documented both by reporters and by paranormal investigators. Even I, to a degree, was shocked how much the Warrens were involved in this case. Now, you can actually check out documentaries on the whole thing if you want to, and since this is a review, I am not going to spoil the whole film for you. Just saying. So, with that being said, and since this is probably going to be a little easier, I'm just going to do these kind of things right here. Needless to say, this is probably going to be one of my best picks for the Halloween season, and it's a great film. Anybody who sees it should definitely see it. Now, the events in the film start out first with, of course, the iconic Amityville. And the words she said, by the way, the real Lorraine Warren was actually said to have said those words. And it's kind of spooky. I think in terms of how the movies are set up, this is probably the film that is, in some areas, I would say maybe 50% closest to the original and real events. Mainly because it was documented so well. There's a lot of characters, including a few we'll meet in a while. And there are a couple of sequences I'm going to let play out a little bit so we don't get copyright claimed by YouTube. That sort of stuff does happen. But as you can see, it's pretty good. Now, in case you're wondering what I'm watching it on, it is a 4K Blu-ray player. It's Blu-ray, so sorry, no 4K copy of this film. And yet, it's still that damn good. It's a 58-inch widescreen 4K TV, 60 frames. So, yeah, I'm not complaining one bit about my quality, and a very good sound system too. So I get pretty much everything. Sorry if it's not the best picture quality for this review, but hey, you deal with what you can. Needless to say, it's pretty impressive. And just what's revealed in this film is so incredible. Now, the Warrens don't necessarily come into this case right away, but they do make one hell of an entrance. Oh, and sorry if the audio is a little low. I've been working on that. See what I mean? Needless to say, not the best of things. This is probably what happened in real life, and frankly, I don't want to play with a Ouija board if I can help it. I don't even want to look at one. This is like one of the worst things you can deal with, although I have to give them credit for making such a, how do I say this, such a unique board. But still, yeah, don't mess with these things. You don't know what they're going to do. This is pretty much what starts their entire problems. And I think, we see the hauntings start very slowly, and then it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, like in a real haunting. And the stuff they do in this movie is just fantastic. There are a couple of things I want to show off. And remember, that's just one or two things. I'm not even trying to spoil the whole movie, but you really do need to see some of this stuff. So guys, there's going to be a lot more. This is something else I want to mention in the film is the Crooked Man song and stuff that they do for this video is pretty terrifying. And I wouldn't mind a film about this character, to be fair, as it would be just terrifying. But the other thing I should mention is that the character that we actually see in this movie is so creepy and cool. And this song can get stuck in your head too. I wanted to stop on this because I will show the character later off in the review, but it sets up such a creepy setup, and I love it. Plus, they actually got a real actor to do this stuff because you would think it would be just a CG monster. This film did actually have somewhat of a budget, so what they can do nowadays and what they could even do in the past is just fantastic, and I love the look. He's creepy, and it works so well for the movie. besides, of course, the scary nun. Yep, if you ever see a swing swinging by itself, you might just have a problem. I'm not kidding. And, yep, on with the show.
Of each other. No wonder I can't get a good night's sleep. No, I don't want to hear another word. Now get back to bed, the lot of you!
Yeah, I'd be pretty terrified too. And I'm pretty sure that even for the actors, they were told where to stand. That's just, shocking. I'm pretty sure that most of this is not acting. This is reacting and be like, holy shit. And to be fair, this is probably what the real people went through. And you have to admit, it's pretty terrifying. Also, I should note that a couple of the clothing is pretty accurate to what appears in some of the videos and photos that they took of this documented case. And, I would be as freaked out as they are. I mean, look at the mom. She's like, oh my God. I mean, she was just on a tirade like, I want some holy shit. I would be with her on that one. I mean, look at her. She's about ready to have a panic attack. Is my heart still in my chest? Yeah, I'd be asking that question too. I really would. And this ain't even comedic. I'd be doing the same damn thing. I mean, seriously, look at that. Would you blame them? Hell no. It says run as fast as you can. And to be fair, this probably happened in real life, which I feel for the family, in all fairness, but holy shit. Just holy shit. They are spooked. And I'm pretty sure that's not entire acting after what just happened, but damn. Now on to that little stuff about some of the other people that witnessed. And these are, by the way, real people. There's going to be one other sequence I'm going to show, but it is based on real people. So let's get to that. So first we're going to start with I can't even pronounce their name properly, residents. Sorry, I just can't, and I don't want to butcher the word.
Well, there's nothing we can do about that. We can finally...
What you just saw pretty much really did happen to these police officers. I don't know if it's exact, to what happened, but it's pretty damn close. These two are real people. They really did experience this stuff, and they even went on camera. Remember, these are cops, okay? Actual cops. And they don't, especially at that point in time in London, you don't put yourself on that kind of heat unless something has happened. And notice not only their look of concern, but look at him. He's like, holy. I mean, she's not lying, obviously. Now, the female cop does say something about helping them out, and this starts the whole process. Eventually, though, this unfortunately brings the press to their door, and people are seeing everything. I mean, it's getting out of hand, and it keeps, escalating constantly because of what's happened. And remember, this went on for, I believe, months and months. I mean, it went on for a while to, like, I think at the end of the events, it was like already Christmas. So, holy crap. So, this family went through a lot. I mean, just an all out lot. And as you can see here, here's some of the recreation of some of the footage that would appear on the television talking about the event. You have an actual person, this isn't the actual footage, but, you get the basic hint. And I'll actually show one or two of these clips, but remember that you can actually see what they really did, as there are programs, even here on YouTube, to see the whole story. But the fact that, this was about the only way they actually got some professional paranormal help and even got the church to really become interested. And to be fair, the Catholic Church, they really do not interfere in this stuff this often. They don't go out of their way for some cases because it is dangerous to do that. And it makes sense. You don't want to give something power, but there's also been a lot of people who have faked things and are seeking attention. And to get the church's involvement, there has to be some serious stuff going on. This, however, was one of those rare cases where everything was going on. I mean, we're talking every bloody thing.
Saw Lego bricks flying all around the room. One of them hit me right in the face so hard it drew blood.
I saw the chair slide by itself across the floor at a distance of several feet. I checked the chair for wires but could find nothing to explain it.
Morris Gross is an engineering consultant and has been investigating.
This is Morris Gross. He is a real person. And I got to say that the actor they got to play him has this great presence, both being excited, also other things going on. And I really like this actor. I don't know who he is, but he did a damn good job. And also with the real pictures I've seen of the real man, it's almost like they cast the real dude, but I don't know if that's even possible. But he does such a good job in this film. He even has a pretty good emotional moment later on. I don't want to spoil that because it's something that actually does make this film a little bit more intriguing and it's closer to the end of the movie. I will show something a little later on when I'm closing out the video, but this guy, along with the family, the Warrens, and also the skeptical, the skeptic. Let's just take a look at her.
Characters here are all children, and children can be very ingenious pranksters.
At the center of these frightening activities.
What is your name?
You don't belong here.
My name is Morris Gross. Who are you?
This is my home. Get out now. My name is Bill Wilkins, and I'm 72 years old.
Where do you come from?
I come from the grave. I went blind and had an hemorrhage, and I fell asleep and I died in a chair in the corner.
Now, I did promise that Crooked Man scene now, didn't I?
He walks a crooked mile.
Now, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a pretty cool shadow of the Crooked Man coming. And this scene was so good and it worked so well that it's one of the best sequences in the movie. Especially with the way it was done. I mean, misdirection and everything. And, of course, what happens here. I don't want to spoil it. Because, oh boy, would that be spoiling a little surprise? And of course, this is around the time the Warrens became involved. You can actually see a good returning character here too, and I think for the entire film series, this really has helped out. You get to see the Warrens interacting with the church, and this is where we get a lot of exposition about what's happening, and even them trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And I'm going to be fair. It makes one hell of a sequence. There's so much more to tell, but basically, the Warrens, they're concerned, we learn some things, and they eventually do go. But they're more there as actual investigators, not actually trying to determine things. They're sort of working for the church. And it creates some of the best sequences because it continues to build on the characters, the events that are occurring, and ultimately sort of this film's like final battle sequence. I'm not going to claim it's 100% true, but it works out very well. And that's the thing. the movie works very well in this regard. It doesn't play around in that point, and I think that works for this movie so incredibly well. I mean, everything that happens, it just continues to work, and it just makes for a better sequence, and it's pretty good. What I also like is that usually at the end of these films, which I'm not going to tell you how the final climax really ends, I'm just going to give you this little bit of information on stuff so you can get an aftermath report. So let's go take a look at that, shall we? Kind of scary stuff to think about. And look there. The Crooked Man is now in their museum. Right next to the thing from the first movie, and oh look, there's old Annabelle in the corner. And by the way, this room really does exist in real life, and yeah, I would never go in here. Basically, this is my review. I'm going to say this movie is worth a watch. There's a lot here that I would love to talk about, but it would be spoiling so much of the film. And that's not a good thing to do when you want to see a good movie. And again, it's something that I actually do miss with movies nowadays. You don't want to spoil a good movie. And as you can tell, this is one of those movies. It works very well. We're going to finish off the points with a couple of looks as the subscribe and other video things pop up. So with that being said, have a good day and like and subscribe. And like I said, here's some stuff to finish the video off with.
Tell me about the beginning, the first night that you had. What was your
Brother
brother's
playing,
doing?
falling about. I wasn't quite sure now.
It was scary.
Yeah.
Janet, what about Janet?
When it comes from your area, Janet, do you feel anything in your throat?
No.
You just don't feel anything? No. Janet, can you tell when the voice is going to come through you?
No. Really don't hear.
You don't mind him? You don't mind him? Were you a Christian?
No. Yeah, you know it.
What year did you got in? You remember?